Good afternoon and welcome to Stress Busters. I am Dr. Keisha Moore of Life in Focus Coaching, and I help women to create more time and energy so that you can accomplish what is most important to you, both personally and professionally. I'm also the host of a private Facebook group. It's a free group and it's called Purpose, Passion, and Power. And this group is for female business owners and female professionals who want to create a career and a life that you love. So, if that's you, I urge you to click on the link that's at the top of this video. It will take you to the page where you can join the Facebook group and meet other fabulous women like yourself. They're ready to be a support to one another because that's what we do. So today we're going to talk about how you can move from being busy to being productive. Those things are not the same. And I must confess that I used to take my busyness as a badge of honor. I would actually brag about how busy I was. But that was before I realized that my busyness was standing in the way of my productivity. And so now I don't glorify in being busy. I know that if I allow myself to get busy, that means there's a problem. And so today I want to share with you how you can move from busyness and all the stress and drama that's caught up in that lifestyle to one of productivity. So that's our focus for today. Now, I have posted a guide that is called Focus on Success, and it's your roadmap for building a successful business without being stressed out. So I encourage those of you who are already business owners or who are thinking about going into business for yourself to click on the link. You'll join my private Facebook group, and then you'll be able to download that guide and get started today. So I'd love to see you there. Now, as I said, I'm a productivity coach, and I have been working with women for a while now. And I see that many of the women that I work with are making the same mistakes. The same mistakes that I used to make and the same mistakes that you're probably making. So I decided to spend our time today focusing on 3 massive mistakes that people make when they're trying to be productive, but they're actually shooting themselves in the foot. Now, I don't want you to feel like I am judging you. As I've already said, these are things that I have done myself and things that many of the clients that I work with have made. So I'm sharing this as a way to offer you support and to help you to avoid those mistakes. So if you hear yourself in the story, don't get mad, get glad, because that means that now you have a way to turn away from busyness and into productivity. How does that sound? Great. So let's get started with the first massive mistake that I see people making. And that is trying to do it all. Now, this is a particular phenomenon that comes up with women because we've been taught that we're supposed to always be helpful and always be out, being the good girl, the good daughter, the good wife, the good mother, and fulfilling other people's visions for who we should be and which we should be doing. And so there are 10 million things that we're doing, and we're trying to do them all at the same time. We have so many balls up in the air that we're just constantly running and juggling just to try to prevent them from falling down. But guess what? They fall down. They fall down because it's not even humanly possible to accomplish all of the things that we set ourselves up to accomplish. And that stresses us out and it leaves us feeling very guilty. So, if your lifestyle is one where you are experiencing these symptoms of being stressed out, of feeling guilty, of missing appointments, of not taking care of yourself and your health, of not taking time off and enjoying your relationships. If that's your lifestyle, then I am here to help you learn how you can turn away from that busy lifestyle and towards one of being productive. And the first thing to do is to learn to say no. No is a powerful word, and it's the key to your productivity. Warren Buffett has a quote where he says, "I say no to more than 95% of every request that's made of me." Now, why does he say no? Is he just trying to be mean? No. He's saying no to the good things so that he can say yes to the great things. So, in my Facebook group, we actually have taken a pledge. And in this pledge, we have committed to ourselves and each other to say no to at least one request every day. And why do we want to do that? Because people are always asking us for more than what we can provide, right? It's not that we can't do this one thing, but this on top of this, on top of that. And we find that it sets into motion where we're so busy doing things that aren't necessarily the things that are important to us, not the things that would make our lives productive. Because remember, I said there's a difference between busyness and productivity. So the first point of productivity is learning how to say no to the good things so that you can say yes to the great things. Yes to the things that are going to advance your life and your career in the ways in which you want to go. So, how do we know what we're supposed to say yes to? The first thing is we have to get really, really clear on our priorities, our life priorities, our career priorities, and our core values. So once we know those things, then we know that's what we're holding out for. Those are the things we're going to say yes to. Is it in line with our purpose and our priorities and our core values? If it's not, it's an automatic no. So we say yes to things that hold high priorities to us because of our values and goals, not necessarily because somebody else wants us to do it. It's about what is important to us. And if we've done that work, we'll know what are the things that we can say an immediate yes to. Because everything you commit to means that you will have less time, resources, money, whatever, to do something else around the future. So you have to pay attention to the opportunity cost and don't just say yes just because right now you have time available, because something else better might be coming along. So you want to say yes to the things that are really important to you. You also want to say yes to the things that are your high impact activities. So the law of vital few helps us to understand that everything we do does not produce the same results. There's some activities we do that are so valuable that they actually produce most of the positive results that we see in our lives. And so this is known as the law of vital few, or the 80-20 rule. And the idea is there's about 20% of your current activities that's responsible for producing 80% of the results that you're experiencing. 20% of your activity produces 80% of the results. And so you owe it to yourself to get really clear on what's that critical 20%, those high impact activities. And that's what you commit yourself to doing more and more of, because that's what's going to grow the positive results in your life, in your business, in your career, in your personal life, in every area of your life. The other thing that you want to do to help you kind of get off this rat race wheel of success around busyness is to learn how to identify your 3 most important goals, your 3 MIGs. So this is a daily habit that I implement in my life and that I teach all of my clients to do. When you wake up in the morning, before you do any ounce of work, you think about what are the 3 most important things that I can do today? What are the 3 things that are going to make the most difference in moving the needle on my big long-term goals and the things that are important to me? Those are the things that I write down, and then I do them in that order: 1, 2, 3. 3 is a tangible number. You can keep it in your head, and when you have completed your work day or your full day, when you go to bed, knowing I have completed the things that are most important to me and that are going to do the most impact in terms of bringing me closer to my goals, you can sleep peacefully and wake up with energy to go into your next day. So that's the first mistake that I want you to avoid, is trying to do everything. You can't do everything, but you can do everything that is important to you. The most important things, those are the things you want to get really clear on, and then get focused on doing those things. Now, the second common mistake that I see people making is multitasking, is trying to do 2, 3, 4 things at one time. So you might be checking your email and you're also eating lunch, or you're talking to a friend, or you're working on a report, and you're kind of going back and forth and doing all these things. And in your mind, you think, oh, I am being so productive because instead of doing one thing, I'm doing 3 things all in the same amount of time. And it seems to be a very efficient use of your time. But it actually isn't. Multitasking is a lie. It is not possible for you to physically pay attention to more than one thing at the same time. So when you're multitasking, what you think you're doing is paying attention to 2 things at one time, but what you're actually doing is shifting your attention from one activity to another activity. And in that shift in attention, you lose critical amount of time, because it takes time for your brain to kind of focus. So it might be, just a split second, but think about the impact of that shifting day after day and hour after hour. So productivity researchers have estimated that we lose about 40% of our productivity based on multitasking. 40%. So in a work week, that comes to about 16 hours a week that we have lost in productivity through multitasking. That doesn't sound efficient to me. That's not a good use of your time. So I know you have a lot on your plate. I know you have a lot of things that you need to get done. And I want to share with you some simple techniques that you can use instead of multitasking that will help you get things done. So the first thing is to monotask, to focus on doing one thing at a time and to batch like tasks together. So lots of times things like making phone calls or doing email are things that come up throughout our entire day. And so we're trying to do something else while we're doing that. But a much better use of your time would be to chunk those activities into specific times in your day and set a timer, and that will be the time that you do that activity. So there's a specific time when you respond to email and check your email. There's a specific time that you make phone calls. There's a specific time that you run errands. And all of those times are already have containers in your schedule for you to do them. And that allows you to do it much more efficiently, so you get more done in the same amount of time. Another thing that you can do to help avoid multitasking is to carve out time to do deep work. Deep work is work that requires concentration, sustained, focused attention. So anything that requires deep thought, anything that requires creativity, that requires innovation, planning, strategic thinking, all of that is kind of deep work. And you don't want to do that while you're being distracted or interrupted and have other things. So you want to carve out approximately 2 hours of your day, your work day, where you're doing this deep work. And I suggest you do it in the morning. And so what you do is you close your door, you put your phone on silent, you turn off all your notifications on email or your social media, and you sit down for 2 hours to work through your 3 MIGs, your most important activities of that day. And you can do that, and it will have your full, sustained, focused attention. So you will get so much more done than you ever have done before. And you'll have more time to move into some of the other things that you have to do that aren't necessarily high priority for you. So 2 hours is enough time to make significant amount of progress in the activities that require deep thought. And then the last thing I'll say around multitasking is to try to schedule your activities throughout your workday based on your energy level. So when you have the most energy, when you have the clearest thought, that's the time you want to reserve for your deep work. And for most people, that's the beginning of the day, because our energy drains as we go through the day. And after lunch, we're kind of down for the count unless we take a power nap or something. So you want to use that knowledge to your advantage. Give the activities that are most important to you, your best version of yourself. When you have most energy, when you can think most clearly, that's when you schedule that kind of work. And things where you have to just kind of show up and be somewhat okay, filing, maybe returning some email that's not really that important, or participating in a meeting that you're not leading. Some of that kind of stuff can be reserved for later in the day. So for me, I don't schedule meetings in the beginning of the day. That is my time that I reserve for doing my deep work that's most important to me in my business, which is often my writing, it's my planning, it's my creative time. And so I guard that time with my life rather than trying to do it wherever I can fit it in throughout my day. So those are concrete things you can do today to stop multitasking and actually be more productive than you were when you were multitasking. So let me share with you the third massive mistake that I see people making all the time, and that is not sharpening the saw. So sharpening the saw is a phrase that Stephen Covey coined in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's based on this quote from Abraham Lincoln, where he says, if I had an hour to chop down a tree, I would spend 40 minutes of that hour sharpening my axe, my saw. And the idea is, if you are prepared and if you invest the time in preparing, then you will be able to execute effectively and quickly. And so that's true in all areas of our lives, right? We ourselves have to give our bodies, our minds, our spirits what we need to be on our A game, so that when we show up at work or show up to perform, we are ready, we are energized, we are fully at the top of our game. And that requires that we invest in giving ourselves what it is that we need. So many people get busy and focused on other people's agendas, and they put everything else in front of themselves. And guess what? They don't sleep, they're not eating well, their health is compromised, they have cloudy thinking, they're on edge all the time. And so you don't have anything to give, right? You can't bring your A game when you are in that state. And so sharpening the saw means to prioritize those things that rejuvenate you, that restore you, that bring you to the level that you need to be, so you can show up and be fully your fabulous, amazing self and deliver tremendous value to the world. That's what sharpening the saw means. So a lot of people are really struggling with burnout. It's a big issue in terms of career and also depression. People just feeling like, life is just too much. I don't really want to engage anymore, and they're kind of disconnected. And the interesting thing is that burnout is not about working too hard. There are lots of people who work hard who aren't burned out. Burnout is about losing meaning attached to your work and to your life. So it feels pointless. And the reason why we lose meaning is because the work that we're doing, whether it's paid work or it's life work, the work that we're doing has lost its meaning to us. It doesn't seem to be connected to our purpose, to our core values, to who we are. And so, why bother? And that's kind of the attitude, and the results are what we see in terms of burnout. So the way to avoid burnout is to connect everything you do in your work and in your personal life to your core values and your signature strengths. Your signature strengths are the unique abilities that you've been born with. They're developed, they're automatic already within you. And as you discover them and as you develop them, then you learn how to connect them to all the things that you're doing. And it allows you to show up, to work hard, to be fully engaged, and to bring your best to absolutely everything that you do, both in work and in your personal life. So we are not doing ourselves or anyone else a service by denying ourselves the things that we need to be restored. We are our own golden geese. Yes, geese. And it is up to us to cherish the body, the life, the mind that we have, and give it all that it needs so that we can continue to add tremendous value to the world through our participation in our jobs, in our families, in our relationships, and in our communities. So those are the 3 massive mistakes that I see people making all the time in the service of being busy, but that shoot themselves in the foot in terms of being productive. So if you see yourself in that pattern, I hope that you will start to implement just a few of the suggestions that I've laid out here so that you can avoid continuing that pattern in your life. Now, it's my goal. I want to help move you from busy to productive. I don't want you to be stressed out. That's why I've entitled this time that we share together, Stress Busters. And I'm committed to bringing you the latest scientific research in coaching principles and practices that will help you to create a life and a career that you love. That's my commitment to you. So I encourage you to take access to the guide, Focus on Success. You can click on the link above. You can join the Facebook group. You can download the guide. I would love to see you in there. We'll have more opportunities to connect on a regular basis. If you have benefited from this video, if you've enjoyed it, please do share this information with other people. I'm trying to start a movement where we are no longer busy, but we are productive. We live happy, fulfilling, rewarding, productive lives that add value to ourselves and to our world. So that is my wish for you. I look forward to seeing you here again next week, next Monday at the same time. We'll continue our discussion of what kinds of resources can help you live that kind of life. And until then, I wish you a life that is filled with meaning, purpose, and joy. Have a great day.